Yeah, I think Autumn is right. I do think this is likely the fall spring we always talk about. We're not done with wintry weather, but it's nice to get a break, right? I think it's lovely when we have these little breaks like this. Hello, everyone. I'm wave meteorologist Brian Good. Forgot my name for a second. Welcome to Snow Talk on this, what is 11th day? It's 11th day already. Valentine's Day this weekend. What's the next thing that the candy's out in the store? It's got to be, St. Patrick's Day? Easter? I'm sure that's out. And then we're going to have a lot of the American flags out. It's a big anniversary for the United States this year, so I'm sure there'll be a lot of flags for 4th of July. You know how it goes. Everything's about 3 to 4 months ahead of schedule. And then we'll get back to Christmas trees again by July. I love it. I think it's funny. I do. But it's one of the reasons why I love living in Charleston, South Carolina. But this is home for me. I love living in Charleston because it was great, but I missed change. I missed seasons, and changing of the weather, changing of the wardrobe, changing of what you see at your window. I think it mentally did a lot more for me than Charleston. You think the beach would really solve a lot of my depression issues I have, but the change of seasons actually do help me most of the time. All right, enough of that. I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to the blog. All right, yeah, it is Snow Talk with a question mark today because we don't have a lot of snow to talk about. We're likely going to get into the phase of storm talk as we head into next week. Got a feeling, so heads up on that. And looking at our snowboard, all by itself. What a season it's had, though. We started off the board lit up right out of the gate, and this, including yesterday, the only 2 times that I've been on here and have had no items listed. Now, I think we will eventually, but right now, as I mentioned before, it's getting harder to sniff out some of these winter events down the road, and that will be the case from here on out for the rest of the winter and into the spring. Picking out a winter event is going to be much more of a challenge. So we got spoiled with seeing a lot of them well in advance before, but things have changed. All right, let me explain why things have changed and what it means for you as you make your plans over the next few days. First off, the ice, not much of it there in Ohio is really melted away rapidly. You probably have only got snow piles from where you shoveled the driveway, and that's probably it. Or you still have snow on the shady side of the house, which is always the last to go. But most of the roofs I noticed here in town have had snow gone and melted away. Hopefully you had that to take place that much in the way of any damage to the roof there. All right. Did you notice the raindrops frozen on your car from those showers last night? You may have noticed they froze up little pieces of jewelry on your windshield. They froze in motion there, right? So we did have a little bit of ice out there this morning, but we're above freezing now in most spots. 38 now in Louisville. No, it's not going to be 69 degrees today, but it will be warm soon. The snowpack, looking from space. Oh, well, not much to find in Kentucky. That's gone away completely just about. You get into Indiana and right there into, where Adam is at, all the way up toward areas of Bloomington. Adam, how much you got there, Adam? I'm curious. And looks like another batch around Seymour, heading towards Salem, all the way through Brown County, Indiana. What'd you say, Adam? It's so nice to see the mud and grass on a warm day to improve the winter blues. Yeah, it sounds like you don't have much left, Adam, because it has been melting away rapidly. So goodbye, snowpack. That was an impressive melt, though, yesterday. But again, the numbers overachieved in a big way. To see temperatures overachieve with a snowpack was pretty fascinating. I don't see that often. And in times I've been here, it's pretty rare to see temperatures surge that much over the snowpack. Boy, it took a big dent out of it, and everyone was excited, right, walking around yesterday. All right, it's actually pretty, active and stormy across the lower 48. Just about every corner has something going on. System to the south, system with snow. This is more of the same old upper low that's been spinning there for a while into New England. And we've got the low pressure that will eventually be our lovely little sweetheart. Let's see if I can draw one. Our little sweetheart storm for this upcoming weekend. There you go. A little heart coming our way. This will be the one that'll track along to give us some showers. Don't see much in the way of thunder, but I do think we'll have at least some shower activity coming into play as we head into especially Saturday, the way it's looking now. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm sorry, hold on one second. My earpiece keeps going out on me. It's a me thing, not it's me, not you. Okay, maybe it'll stay. Okay, we'll see if it does. If not, don't worry. I know you guys can hear me. It's just annoying when something that cuts out. I feel like what's his name, Alex Warren, during the Grammys when his IFB system went haywire. I felt for him because, gosh, that's what we deal with so much in news when our earpieces go crazy and when they're not in sync or they're not working the way they're supposed to. It throws you off so much. It's a bit of a pain, actually. Anyway, so we got the storm system coming in for Valentine's Day. So let's just roll into the short term. We'll begin with quiet weather today. A lot of sun, easy going. Yes, not 69 to 70, but it is a cooler day. We get into tomorrow. A little bit more of a cloudier day tomorrow. Could try to get some light rain to try to show up in Illinois, and it'll try to streak down toward Kentucky. Yeah, not worry about that. It's minor. But it will be a cloudier, I should say. It's still like a hazy sunshine type of setup. And then Friday, it looks like a lot of sun as well. So then we get into the setup for Valentine's Day. And that's when that low pressure will move on by. Here we go. Got some rain with it. We're on the northern side. If this, I always love to say this, if we were just colder, this would be probably a good 3 to 6 inch snowstorm for the area if we were colder. But weather people always do that. We love to take a rain system and try to do the math and pretend what it would be like if it was snow. That's natural. Don't worry. If you think it's something weird that's happening to you, don't worry. It happens to all of us. All snow lovers like this way. But this is rain that we're talking about. So a soggy and cozy Saturday. So if you have someone, snuggle buddy, you are going to be in good shape. Now, watch what happens. This cold air is not in a hurry here in the Northeast. It's very, very slow. As we always mention, slow, lazy, heavy. So our little system that rolls in just says, hey, look there. There's some cold air. Boom, there it goes. Snow reacts right along the coastline. Lucky dogs. Now they get a chance to get in on that 3 to 6 inch snowstorm. For them, well, I'm happy for them. For areas of the Mid-Atlantic into New York, they'll get a burst of wet snow. And then after that, boy, I tell you, it gets quiet. We get warm and windy. Oh, boy. Get ready for the wind. We haven't had a lot of wind as of late. We're about to get into the windy season here. So hang on tight. First round of wind will be rolling in on Wednesday, and I think that'll be enough to push us to 70 for a high on Wednesday. There is a chance to get some thunderstorms because I'm going to click one more frame here. This will be later Wednesday night into Thursday that would just pop on the radar. As of now, I don't think it's anything too worrisome. There's no strong signal that I'm getting on the severe parameters on it, but it could be just kind of a rainy, thundery kind of night as we head into Wednesday night into Thursday. So the middle of next week, after a warm day, windy and warm, may have some rain and thunder, good sleeping weather, perhaps into Wednesday night. Thursday, that moves on out, and then things get a little weird here because we're going to remain with an active system where you can see the Cape already forming in Texas, another system rolling in the Rockies. All right, we know the game plan here. We're going to get these stronger, slower, low pressures that are going to be rolling off the Rockies, pulling in plenty of moisture, and they have plenty of time to do so because, again, they're moving slower. These will allow for some impressive warm-ups at times and rounds of showers and storms. But the cold air is there. It is just lurking to the north. It's just a matter, really, of any type of phasing type of systems that can come into play, or you get a phase system with a clipper. That's about the only way I see right now you're going to get snow back into the forecast with this kind of a setup that will last for a while. Otherwise, bet on rain and bet on warmth. And here's another reason why. And this gets a little more into the science of it all. I'll take this full screen. Looking at all the teleconnections. All right. These have been a big player for us this year. First off, the one in the top left is your cold air that's available, the Arctic oscillation. You want it to be negative of that black line, which is running right on here. In general, it's near to negative all the way through the rest of the month. Again, indicating the cold air is available to be grabbed there in Canada, but it has to be grabbed. When you look at the EPO, well, it's going positive. And that indicates just a much more active Pacific Ocean, a lot more storm systems moving to California. That is a signal that is not what you want to see if you want cold weather in the lower 48, especially in Kentucky and Indiana. It's tougher for that to happen with this kind of a Pacific flow that keeps getting intertwined. The blocking, big factor, right? Blocking is still there. It's a negative overall on the NAO, but it was tanking during the really cold periods. I mean, it was down way off the chart. Now it's back to kind of averaging out close to where you think it would be. So no big deal there. Kind of matches. And then as you get into your PNA, which is a big one here too, the PNA, you want that to be positive to create the classic ridge in the west and the Rockies and a trough over the eastern United States, those big deep troughs we have that allow cold air and storm systems. Well, it's negative is its signal, indicating a ridge in the east and a trough west. So when you look at the teleconnections, this is not a cold pattern and certainly not a pattern that we've had for the winter. So we obviously can tell that this is going to be a different setup down the road. Now, what about the stratosphere? A lot of talk about the stratospheric warming, which I still think is something that we need to watch, but I think it's going to be very delayed. And the longer it delays, the more it will fight the sun angle and just the season being later into March. So we may not notice it as much. And it certainly will not be what we had in January of below zero weather. But it may keep it interesting on the cold side. And when you look at the stratosphere here, you got to look at it almost in an inverse way. Now, this is where we are at currently. You saw the cold air that's in New England, and they get that little burst of snow after Valentine's Day. So they got that little cold pocket now. But really pay attention to this chart. This is later this month. And again, you're looking at the atmosphere in an inverse way up high. So where you see the warmer colors, that is where the core of the polar vortex is located. And when you see the colder numbers, that indicates that the warmer air is entrenched over the lower 48. So cold up above, warmer down below. That's where we're at. If it's warm above, then it's colder down below. So again, I know harder to explain when you look at this map because you got to look at it in two different ways because we're looking way at the top of the atmosphere that we can possibly really get to and get data on here. This tells me right now it's lurking, but it's not doing anything wild. And it certainly indicates a warmer pattern in general over the lower 48. All right. One more other way to track that. I'm giving you guys a lot of data today. This is going to be the stratospheric warming forecast. I don't know if you guys can see that. The green is where it's going, indicating that it is going to head down toward the line. Last time it did that was November 30th and gave us the December fun. It was a bit delayed, but it shows that by the end of February, very early March, it will reach that point. So again, we are expecting some type of disruption to happen to the polar vortex. We just don't know if it's a split or a stretching of the polar vortex, or if it just is a full-on displacement. I don't know. I don't think anyone really knows. The MGO, another way to track patterns, it is going to phase, maybe even go to phase 8. It's going to phase 4, which is a warm pattern for the United States. But again, hard to read these little yellow lines here, but they do try. It weakens a bit and tries to go to phase 8, which would return to a colder than normal pattern that comes our way. Did you guys get all that? Did I lose you? Let me know if I lost you. It's a lot. I'm sorry. It is a lot of data, but I like to show you all more of the behind the scenes look to how we're trying to trend here for February and into March. And so far as you just saw there, there's an overwhelming amount of data that indicates what we're getting into play for next week is going to be something we're going to be experiencing for the rest of the month. March is going to be a wild card because at that point we have to just wait and see what happens with the stratosphere? Do we see a disruption at all? Do the teleconnections all suddenly line up again and bring down the colder weather and we get into more fun and games? Possibly. But again, I want to stress that if we get back into a wintry mode in March, it will not feature the brutal cold like we had. There'll be mainly wet snows that stick around for a day or two, not the type of snows that stick around and you ice over for a month. We're done with that. It's over. Anything else from here on out is going to be the fun snows. I think it's the exciting type of snow that we're talking about coming our way when you get into the wet snow season. And you can get some big ones too. I mean, you can get some big snows in March sometimes. Everything lines up. I'm not saying we're going to get one, but boy, if you're a snow lover, this is an interesting pattern. All right, let me show you the 10-day. Here we go with 40s for the next few days. Warm up. There's the rain. Yuck, yuck, yuck for the weekend. If you want to wash your car, get the salt off fine, but, it's going to rain again. Next week, a warm week, 60s to around 70, and then we get a little stormy as we head into the second half there of next weekend or next week into the weekend. Any questions I can try to answer? I think all that in a bag of chips. There you go, Joe. When's the exam? It will be Tuesday, number 2 pencil, Scantron. Make sure it's number 2 and bring it back up number 2 just in case. No TI-84 calendar or calculators allowed. Kathy, we've had enough snow for 2 years. Yeah, I think snow lovers have honestly, you've had a good January. You really have. You had a good season. You had snow in December. That's rare to get that much snow. And you had a very cold and snowy January. It has not been a bad winter. It's been above normal, colder than normal overall. So I think it's fair that we've had a good season here. Now, anything else is going to be a bonus, in my opinion. What'd you say, Weather Geek? So the groundhog to do is see a shadow and flip the weather pattern. Isn't that easy? Man, just to be a groundhog and do the weather. On the wrong gig. I could sleep in a burrow for the rest of the time. Man, that sounds nice right now. All right, I'll leave it alone for now. Thanks for watching, everybody. Easy going forecast. We'll look at new long-term data. Oh, I love when we do Fridays. Long-term data is going to be coming in, so we're going to cover that and then see if there has been a change in all the data I just showed you, because it does flip into, it only updates certain times of the week. Tomorrow is one of those days. So we'll see if it flips again. I doubt it will, but that would be kind of exciting. Talk more about it coming up tomorrow. Until then, I'll see you guys coming up on midday. Reminder again, we're streaming our newscast today because of the Olympics, 12, 3, and 4 o'clock. We're still on. We're on the news app. So make sure to tune in to watch. All right, I hope you do. Take care.